Aloha, I'm Corey Yanger with the University of Hawaii and the Rapid Ohia Death Outreach Team. We're offering Ohia free lei making workshops. Here in Hawaii, we have a tradition of lei making, wearing, and giving. This video is to teach you how to properly collect your plant materials to make your lei. We call these workshops Ohia free because right now in Hawaii we have a new introduced disease called rapid Ohia death that's killing off our most abundant native tree species, called Ohia. To collect your plant materials, you just need something to collect with. You can use your hands, scissors, or pruners, and then you need something to hold your materials in, like a brown paper grocery bag, a basket, or a cloth bag. Before you go out picking, you want to consider how long you need your lei to be. Do you want a lei for your head, your po'o, your neck, a'i, or maybe your wrist or an ankle? That would be a kupe'e. And you can also use the kupe'e in your hair and it looks very beautiful. Another thing to consider is the style. How do you want this lei to look? You can go online to look at different styles of lei if you like, or you can also go out into your yard and see what's available to you. Once you decide what length of lei you want, and until you get more comfortable gauging how much material you need, I find it helpful to use something the size of a brown paper grocery bag to help me estimate how much material to gather. If you're making something for your head or your neck, a full paper bag's worth of material is good enough. And if you're trying to make something like a kupe'e, adornment for your wrist or your ankle, then about a third of a brown paper bag is good. Making lei includes an understanding of what sustainable picking practices are. So as you're going out collecting your plant materials, stay away from plants that look sickly or diseased. If you're interested in new leaves or flowers, pick only a third of what the plant has on it. And stay away from invasive species wherever possible, especially if they have fruiting structures. Picking plant material includes a protocol of asking for permission here in Hawaii. So whether that's a chant, or a song, or a few words you say quietly, this is a way to bring respect and awareness to what you're about to do. Here's one of our first plants, and this is kupu kupu. It's a really nice fern. It makes for really nice texture in your lei. You're going to collect just a few inches. You can make a bigger, puffier lei, which would involve collecting maybe 4 or 5 inches, but for our purposes, we're going to be just collecting about 3 inches. You can use pruners, you can use your hand. I'm going to use my hand here and just gently kind of snip off the part that you want. Here's another plant that you can use in your lei. This is hapu'u. This is a native tree fern. Similar to the kupu kupu, you can just, eyeball a few inches, select the part that the area you're gonna snap off, and then just break it off. And that would be the piece that you're gonna use. Here's some tea, also known as la'i. This is a really nice plant to use in your lei because you can kind of cut it up and make smaller pieces, and they add a nice pop of color to your lei. So I'm going to go ahead and collect a couple of these leaves. When you're collecting, you want to make sure for this type of plant, use a sharp blade or scissors or something like that. Don't just rip it off at the edge, because oftentimes those edge leaves are not as nice as the ones that are closer to the center, but you don't want to break the plant as well. Here's another type of plant you can use. This is a rose bush that we have growing off the side of our house on a trellis. Really pretty for lei po'o, the head lei, or neck lei, le'ai. You can even use the rose buds. You don't have to use the full blossom. And really the blossom might even work better because it'll stay together a little bit better than the full blossom. These tend to fall apart. They're a little bit more fragile. A lot of you folks are gardening out there, and this is something you can get really creative with what you want to put into your lei. This is some mint that we have growing along our walkway. You would get your roughly 3 inches, snap it off, there's your piece. You can use sedges as well. This is a sedge that I find in my yard that can be really nice in a lei, especially if you pull back some of these top leaves that are sticking out a bit more. But the flowers would look really nice in a lei. Here's some tropical rhododendron that could be really nice in lei as well. It's got a nice long stem, little tubular flower. Virea is another name for this. And they have all kinds of really pretty colors. Here we have some of the plants that we harvested from the garden. This is just a small sample of what you're going to need. Remember I said you need to have at least a full paper bag for something like a head lei, lei po'o, and about 1/3 of a bag full for a wrist lei.